Hello everyone, it is Tuesday, it's 12:30 and I'm not centered and that means it is time for first chapter fun. I'm just going to check. I know I'm live on Instagram. I see Tracy, yay Tracy, hooray. We have Rena, we have 1966 Shelby, and it looks like I'm live at Glennie as well. Good afternoon, and it looks like I'm live on Facebook as well. Can't see the comments on Facebook, but I'm going to assume, always dangerous, that you can see me and hear me. If there's anyone right now, good afternoon, Tori. If there's anyone on Facebook right now that's watching, leave me a comment. Always these technical issues, I tell you. Hello. Oh, yay, Hank is here. Good afternoon. I can see the comments. I don't have to fiddle about and try and figure out if you can see me or not. Hello, Glennie, who's also watching on Facebook. All is well. First chapter fun can go ahead without technical glitches for now. Hello, Hank. So lovely to see so many of you already joining. That's fantastic. How has your week been? Hope it's been a good one. We've got cases of COVID on the rise in our area. Going up again, so we're wondering if things are going to lock down again, if schools are going to be closed. We don't know, but we're not out of the woods yet. But for the next half an hour, first chapter fun is your escape. It's my escape. It's our escape from the craziness that seems to be going on in the world right now. If this is the first time you've joined, this is the place where my not fictional partner in crime, my partner in fictional crime, because she's very real, Hank Philippi Ryan, and I, Hannah Mary McKinnon, read the first chapter of a different book, not ours, although there might be something in the works for the near future, every Tuesday and every Thursday, live on Instagram, live on Facebook at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, we were broadcasting on Twitter. I was doing a bit of an extreme sport with 4 devices and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and we quietly, well, it's not so quiet now, I'm telling you, I guess, but it's between us, it's okay. We decided to drop Twitter because it just got too complicated. So we're not, we're not technophobes by any stretch of the imagination, but come on. So 2 platforms, Facebook and Instagram moving forward, which is exactly what we've been doing since March. Which reminds me to tell you that this is episode 94. That's right, 94. And if this is your first time visiting First Chapter Fun, welcome, first of all. Thank you for being here. And if you'd like to catch up on any of the 93 episodes that you've missed so far, you can do so at your leisure, because we save them on Instagram in our IGTV and also on Facebook. On the new Facebook, it's under media. On the old one, if you're still using the old one, it's under videos. Hello, Robin, and Hank says you are fine on Facebook. Excellent. Oh, good. I'm glad I just read that comment. Otherwise, I might have been talking along and nobody could hear me. That would have been fun, and not the first time. Good morning, Barbara on Facebook. Good morning, Tori. Thank you very much. She says you look lovely. Oh, that's so kind. On Instagram, I have a nice filter. I don't get that on Facebook. Such a shame. Good afternoon, I should say, Kimberly. Deb Romano says hello from Deborah in Milford, Connecticut. Ali, an avid watcher of First Chapter Fun. Not too, just down the road, kind of, in Canadian distance terms anyway, from here. And Daisy as well. We have lots and lots of people. And Tracy Tracy Clark, I am going to introduce you to her in just a minute. She says, I probably shouldn't be giggling, but this is so freaking cool. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the book that we are reading from today. And I tell you what, this one, it's a suspense mystery, but I was laughing my head off. I hope I don't lose it while I'm reading from it, because it is really funny. So if I start giggling while I'm reading it, Tracy, I apologize. This is the book, What You Don't See, by Tracy Clark, and it's just brilliant. I know I'm going to start laughing when I read it now. Anyway, just trust me, it's a really, really cool book. So that's what we're going to be reading from today. Before I start though, if one of the platforms decides to chuck me out, which does happen occasionally, Instagram and Facebook just cut me off because they decide that's enough, Anna Mary McKinnon, get out of here. I will come back. I'll be like the Terminator. I will be back, and I'll just start the recording all over again. So if, generally, not always, but if I just disappear, it's not you, it's me, or Facebook or Instagram, take your pick, and I'll just come back and start the recording all over again. All right, so let me show you that beautiful cover. Again, what you don't see. Tracy and I shared a pub date this year. This book published on May 26th, and you can get your hands on it right now. You don't have, well, not right now, not right now, but you know, in about 20 minutes or so once we're done reading, and then you can go off and get your hands on this one. It is the third in a series, but you do not have to read the books in order. If you like the sound of this one, go pick it up, start reading it, and then read the other two. That sounds like that's your reading week sorted out until Thursday, and then you'll have to add another one to your reading list for the next episode of First Chapter Fun. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about Tracy. I'm going to have to put my glasses. I either need to wear my glasses or print this out in, I don't know, a font 16 or something, because, yeah, anyway, no spring chicken anymore, as my husband likes to say, bless him, and he's older than me, cheeky kid. All right, so let me introduce you to Tracy Clark. Tracy Clark, a native Chicagoan, is the author of the Cass Raines Chicago Mystery Series, featuring ex-cop turned PI Cassandra Raines. Her debut, Broken Places, made Library Journal's list of the best crime fiction of 2018, and CrimeReads named Cass Raines Best New PI of 2018. The novel was nominated for a Lefty Award for Best Debut Novel, an Anthony Award for Best Debut Novel, and a Shamus Award for Best First PI Novel. Her second Raines novel, Borrowed Time, was nominated for the 2020 Lefty Award for Best Mystery Novel and won the 2020 G.P. Putnam Sons Sue Grafton Memorial Award. Book 3 in the Raines series, What You Don't See, which is the one we're reading from today, published on May 26th. There we go, the third, with all those accolades and awards and nominations for awards. You know you're onto a winner. Come on, there's absolutely no question. And writer Tori, we're reading from Tori's book next week. Shh. It's not a secret, is it? I mean, we're reading from Tori's book next week. She says Cass Raines rocks. She sure does. All right, so let me tell you. Hold on. Just going to move, checking some of the comments. I'm trying to read the comments at the same time. Barbara on Facebook says, Hannah is frozen on my screen. Anyone else? Oh, Hank says she's okay on mine. Maybe it's just me going, no, just kidding. That would be really mean, wouldn't it? Just to do that in the middle, just to see you. No, I wouldn't do that. That would be kind of funny, maybe, if we read on April the 1st. All right. Let me tell you, or read to you, the back cover copy of What You Don't See. So sit back, relax, and let me entertain you. Wealth, power, celebrity. Vonda Allen's glossy vanity magazine has taken the Windy City by storm, and she's well on her way to building a one-woman media empire. Everybody adores her, except the people who work for her, and the person who's sending her flowers with death threats. As Vonda's bodyguard, off-duty cop Ben Mickerson knows he could use some backup, and no one fits the bill better than his ex-partner on the police force, Cass Raines. Now a full-time private eye, Cass is reluctant to take the job. She isn't keen on playing babysitter to a celebrity who's rumoured to be a heartless diva. But as a favour to Ben, she signs on. But when Vonda refuses to say why someone might be after her, and 2 of her staff turn up dead, Ben and Cass must battle an unknown assailant bent on getting to the great lady herself before someone else dies. Cass finds out the hard way just how persistent a threat they face during the first stop on Ronda's book tour. As fans clamour for her autograph, things take an ugly turn when a mysterious fan shows up with flowers and slashes Ben with a knife. No, not Ben. I love Ben. While her ex-partner's life hangs in the balance, Cass is left to find out what secrets Ronda is keeping, who might want her dead, and how she can bring Ben's attacker to justice before enemies in the Chicago Police Department try to stop her in her tracks. Oh, doesn't that sound good? Yes, it does. So, before I read the first chapter, you can find Tracy. So her website, where's her website? TracyClarkBooks.com, dead easy. On Facebook, T Clark Books. On Instagram, TP Clark 2000. And on Twitter, TracyPC6161. There's a story behind that Instagram handle, and we need to know what it is. What is TracyPC6161? All right, let me show you that cover again, because it's just gorgeous and you should see it again. What they don't see. So this one released, if you just joined, we're reading from Tracy Clark's What You Don't See. And it is out now, the third in a series, but you can read them in any order you please. There we go. All right. So you ready? I'm ready. I'm so ready. All right. We just see everything's okay. Lisa just says, OMG, sounds awesome. Yeah, I agree. And she says, uh-oh, sounds like I'm buying another one. And Hank is speculating that the Twitter handle is her address, year she was born, lucky number. I don't know. Apparently Tracy's going to take the 6161 story to her grave. All right then, we'll let you off. Okay, this is chapter 1 of What You Don't See by Tracy Clark. Here we go. It's time. Long past it, really. She won't be able to ignore me this time. Will she rant or cower? I'd love it if she cowered. The great lady, the star. You could say I'd kill to see it. Have killed. But for now, rant, please. Only later will it need to be fear. Only then will she have to quiver and beg and recognise. I tingle when I think of her end. Her last breath, long overdue. Anticipation is like a drug coursing through my veins, warming me in tender places. Her end. I like saying it, thinking it. Soon she'll hold my letter. My words will be in her head. This time her hands will surely tremble as the full weight of my loathing floods out. On an endless loop the moment plays. Her hands, my loathing. Every frame, every image, a feast to savour one morsel at a time, slow and easy, digesting each bite in infinite stages, stretching a lifetime between first taste and last. Now, stark white, bright red paper stacked, and pens lined up like bloody soldiers. What a presentation it makes. Will make. The paper is cool under the reverent sweep of my hand. It's almost a shame to write on it. Almost. Just the right words. A monstrous debt is owed. Payment now due. Where to begin? Yes. Dear bitch. You know that bike cost more than my first car, right? Ben said as I coasted up to him on the bike path at Promontory Point. I'd spotted my old partner a half-mile out, sitting on the weathered bench under a stand of bur oak, his back to the Museum of Science and Industry. He was hard to miss. His burly cop body all but dwarfed the resting point. I dismounted, took my helmet off, smiled. I wasn't surprised to see him. We'd arranged the meet. "First car, and likely your current car," I said, "which, pardon my français, is a rolling piece of shit." "It's only got 96,000 on it. What are you talking about?" I hooked my helmet onto a handlebar, grabbed my water bottle from the bike's down tube and drank deep. Ben's bench marked mile 28 on my round-trip trek to tip-top shape and improved mental focus, a trek that hit every high point along Chicago's lakefront from this spot south all the way north to Lincoln Park Zoo and back. Normally, I didn't stop until I hit the bagel shop around the corner from my apartment, a mile or so west. But today, Ben came before my whole wheat with raspberry cream cheese. 8:30 on a Sunday morning. Most people are still in bed. He draped his blazer across the back of the bench and had loosened his collar and tie, cop clothes. He'd just clocked out of a midnight to 8. "Yeah, but look what most people are missing," I said. "It's a beautiful morning." And it was. It was a week before Labor Day, the unofficial end of a mild summer, and the lake shimmered like blue-green glass, slow-moving compared to the traffic building behind us on Lakeshore Drive. On the bike and pedestrian paths, the truly committed were on the move, driven by whatever internal spark goosed them along. Ben took a sip of coffee out of a Dunkin' Donuts cup. I plopped down on the bench beside him, slipping off my riding gloves, stretching my legs out. "You're sweating," he said. I slid him a look, amused. "That's what happens when you raise your heart rate. When's the last time you did that, by the way?" "Vegas. Her name was Sherry. Damn good memories. How many miles you up to at a pop, if you don't mind my asking?" "Today? 15 up, 15 back. 2 miles more from here to my shower nozzle. It really wakes you up." Ben stared at me without enthusiasm. "I can see that. I might get into something like that one of these days." The man was built like a Bears linebacker, wide, solid, and lead of foot. I doubted his monster feet would even fit on a pair of bike pedals. Not a bad idea. One you've had for the whole time I've known you, yet you haven't made it onto a single bike seat yet. "I'm thinking a Harley-Davidson might make it a little easier on the cartilage," Ben said. I gulped more water, swallowed. "No doubt. Wouldn't do a thing for your heart rate, though." He shot me a mischievous grin. "Would if I rode it right." There was a water fountain across the path, but I didn't feel like making a go for it yet. I was tired. I stared at the fountain, willing it to come to me. "Sorry I had to kick your new boyfriend to the curb, but things got awkward. No hard feelings?" "Boyfriend?" I chuckled. "Funny, the way he told it, he kicked you, and if I'm not mistaken, I told both of you things were going to get stupid." He was referring to Detective Eli Webber, his latest ex-partner, my new person. I had met him while investigating Pop's murder, a case personal to me, one I couldn't let go. Pop had been killed in his own church, his body stuffed into a confessional, and I carried the loss of him like an anvil in my chest cavity every hour of every day. Such a kindly parish priest Father Ray Heaton had been. Pop. I still couldn't believe he was gone. Ben and Eli had tried partnering, but it had lasted only a few weeks. The closer Eli and I got, the weirder it got for all three of us. It wasn't as if Ben and I had designs on each other. He was like a brother. But what woman wanted her brother working with the guy she was sleeping with? No woman. That's what woman. "It's not like he was giving me a blow-by-blow," Ben said. "But still, whatever. Let's talk about something else." The fountain was playing stubborn. It still refused to budge. I sneered at it. "So what's up? Why are we sitting here on a bench on a Sunday morning when I've got a bagel waiting for me?" He tapped his newspaper against his thigh, eyed the trees. "I asked you here because I have a job for a talented ex-cop turned PI such as yourself. Interested in taking on a little something?" "Depends on what it is." He glanced at me, shook his head. "Must be nice.
Captain of your own ship, mistress of your own fate, no more having to take whatever croaks or pukes in front of you. You're just out there footloose and fancy free.
I kicked off my shoes, wiggled my toes around in my sweaty socks. Yeah, life's sweet. Stop stroking me.
Patience is a virtue, Ben said.
So is chastity, I said. But in for a penny, in for a pound. Ben breathed in deep, let the breath out slow, a smile on his face.
Webber's one lucky bastard, I tell you.
He tilted his face toward heaven, eyes closed as if working on a tan.
Ronda Allen.
I groaned. Ronda Allen was a fuss-pot prima donna, the publisher of her own glitzy magazine called Strive, which leaned heavily toward glitterati puff pieces. She was media's darling, their current celebrity crush. There was even some buzz that she was about to branch out into television in her own vanity talk show. Ben worked security for her on his off hours to pay for some white guy fishing boat he was jonesing for. I'd heard all I needed to about Ronda Allen. I waited for more, but apparently he wasn't in any hurry. He knew the slow approach got under my skin. We'd partnered together for years. He knew I didn't do long and drawn out, which was why he was smiling, savouring the moment. The great Ronda Allen, the woman with her finger on the pulse of urbane and upwardly mobile black folk, the movers and shakers, the stride makers. I was reciting Allen's well-worn hustle, often repeated whenever she showed up anywhere to get her picture taken. I'd only skimmed her magazine once or twice before deciding I wasn't quite urbane enough for what she was laying down. Ben wasn't urbane enough either, or in any way black, but the money was good, and a side gig was a side gig. I broke first, but only because I had a full day nap planned. So,
Allen thinks some numbnuts has a thing for her. The idiot's been sending her notes filled with not-so-sweet nothings, and now she thinks he might want to cancel her subscription permanently, if you get what I'm saying.
Ben reached into his shirt pocket, pulled out a piece of folded paper and handed it to me.
Flowers, too. And there've been some nuisance calls.
When I unfolded it, the words, "Dear Bitch," scrawled in red, leapt out at me. The rest of the page was filled with vile expletives, thrown in to hammer home the writer's obvious disquiet. Sorry, it's funny. I refolded the paper and handed it back. It was a copy, not the original. He's imaginative.
He overuses the word fuck, if you ask me. A true sign of a limited vocabulary.
And Miss Allen's upset by the crudeness?
I figure she's been called bitch a few times. Never, I guess, by mail.
Just the one?
The only one they'd share. Kay Chandler, her assistant, gatekeeper, whatever you want to call her, made a copy and slipped it to me. Allen ordered her to shred the rest in a show of utter defiance. Her words, not mine. Chandler thought I might be able to do something, convince Allen to take things seriously, if nothing else.
Define the rest.
More than one? Less than a dozen? That's as close as I could get. All sent over the last couple of months. Allen doesn't want to talk about it, and Chandler doesn't talk about what Allen doesn't want to talk about. Long story short, Allen wants to avoid making a big thing out of this, but she wants her arse covered.
We sat quietly, listening to the leaves rustle overhead. She has no idea who's sending them.
She says no, but that doesn't necessarily mean no. I've been a cop a long time. I know when someone's giving me the business, and honestly, it could be just about anybody walking. Allen's a real barn burner and doesn't exactly tread lightly.
2 women jogged by. Ben's eyes followed them coming and going until they were well out of sight. So you're looking into it? I asked. Officially?
Nope. I'm to stay close. That's it. Allen has less than politely declined my advice to involve the department, and I sure as hell can't force her. So my job is to just stand there looking big and tough and hope Mr. Poisonpen runs out of ink and steps off.
So where do I fit in? Ben pressed his lips to the rim of his cup, found the brew cold and chucked the liquid over his shoulder onto the grass. The cup he crushed in a beefy palm as he looked around for a can to toss it in. The can sat next to the water fountain across the way, but it didn't look like Ben wanted to make a go for that either.
I'm figuring it might be good to double up on this one.
I chuckled.
Since when do you need a co-babysitter? I don't. But you're a woman, she's a woman, you're black, she's black. See where I'm going with this? Thought you might be able to get something out of her. I can't.
I slanted him a look. Oh, you did you?
She's got a memoir coming out next week, so she's got some fancy wine and cheese things planned. A couple of book signings, some talk or other over at the Harold Washington. There's a lot of flesh pressing, a lot of opportunities for some nut to take a shot. I'm figuring a good look at some high-profile security, and he'll wisely find some other way to get his jollies.
What about your day job? Ben tossed his crushed cup into the air and caught it.
3-week furlough started the minute I clocked out this morning.
I frowned. 2 bodyguards for a few crank letters. Sounds a little heavy-handed. Ben leaned back and crossed his arms against his wide chest.
Maybe, but who am I to tell the not-so-idle rich how to spend their money?
My water bottle was still empty, my throat dry. I sighed, knowing I was going to have to make a move for the fountain. You say she's difficult.
Oh, she's difficult, all right.
Bodyguard for a bitchy magazine peddler, I muttered. You run out of cop friends looking for an easy side job.
No, but besides the female and black thing, I'd like somebody on this who can't get busted down for telling Alan where to stick her inserts. That wouldn't be a problem with you.
I let a beat pass while I thought it over. I don't do big and tough, in case you hadn't noticed.
So you'll be lean and mean. All she's looking for is a competent buffer.
I'm not mean.
You're opinionated and not the least bit bashful, and cocky as the day is long. Also, a little standoffish.
I glared at him. Ben took a long look at my face.
And you're thorny, but sweet on the inside, like a pineapple. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate your uniqueness, just letting you know I see you.
I glared at him, only mildly amused. Bottom liner for me?
For one thing, she's as aggressive as a feral pit bull. She likes head games, prying, digging, seeing how much she can get away with. All the while she's got zero tolerance for the same kind of treatment. You wouldn't believe the turnover rate in her office.
Ben let out an impressive whistle.
I'd say money seems real important to her. Who has it, what she has to yank to get at it. And she does all her wheeling and dealing with the sincerest look of insincerity on her face. It's bone-chilling, really. I can't completely rule out demonic possession.
Might explain the dear bitch, I groused. Ben grinned.
Might at that.
We enjoyed the breeze. We sat enjoying the breeze, watching the joggers, the lake, the trees. No rush. Ben and I'd ridden in a cop car without killing each other. We could certainly share a bench on the slowest Sunday morning without it getting awkward. This gig sounds like a real pain.
Pays $5,000 for the week to start. Open to re-upping if necessary.
Ben flicked a thumb at my bike.
More than enough to buy a pretty pink basket for that rolling investment of yours.
I fingered my towel but didn't say anything.
You could look a little impressed. You heard me when I said 5 Gs.
I heard. Ben shook his head.
You've got to be the only person I know who doesn't jump at the chance to put $5,000 away just for standing around.
Seems kind of high.
Why are you so suspicious? Next time I'm adding suspicious.
I turned to face him. Why is it so high? He cleared his throat.
Well, for one, there's her personality, which means she's not easy to work for. And then there are the constraints.
What kind of constraints?
You have to sign an NDA and take her secrets to the grave.
My brows lifted.
Say what? Nothing gets out of the office. From the kind of shoes she wears, who visits her, to who or what she may or may not be sleeping with. She's paying for tight lips, which shouldn't be a problem for you. Never seen anyone hold on to a confidence as tightly as you. You up for it?
A week could be a long time.
It's going to feel a lot longer than a week. I won't paint you a rosy picture.
You could try.
No, I've got my pride.
I snapped on my helmet, slipped back into my shoes, eased my fingers back into my gloves. I reached for Ben's empty cup and took it with me as I trotted, at last, across the path for water. I ditched the cup in the trash can, filled my bottle and then trotted back, taking a long drag before mounting up. 1 week, I said, and only because it's you asking. But why do I get the feeling you're luring me into a viper's nest? Ben glanced up at me, smiled.
Because you're a suspicious pineapple. Now get along, little doggy. Word of advice? Stop peddling when you hit the Des Plaines River.
And that was, I didn't laugh at pineapple. I thought I was going to burst out laughing because I did when I read it first.
There we go. That was the first chapter of What You Don't See
by Tracy Clark. And Robin just says, Tracy, I love the character development and their dialogue. I agree. It is so brilliant and so funny. And I just absolutely loved it. So this one, published on May 26th. It is the third in a series, but you don't need to read them in order. So if you like the sound of it, and how could you not, frankly, you can get your hands on it right now, which I really think you should. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of First Chapter Fun. Tracy, thank you very much for letting us read for you. And thank you to your publishers as well, Kensington Books. So much fun to read. So lovely to see you all. And Lisa just says, Tori says, pineapple. I know. A suspicious pineapple. And Lisa says, OMG, don't stop now. I have to. I'm sorry. I mean, I could stay here all day and read to you, but I can't. I say I could, but I can't. But if you missed the beginning of this, do go back. This will be on IGTV and in our archive on media on Facebook, and you can hear all of it. So let me tell you about Thursday's book. Thursday's book, we're going to historical fiction with The Hollows by Jess Montgomery. This will be Thursday's book at 12:30 p.m. and we can't wait to read for Jess as well. Oh, and I should say there was some debate with Tracy and Hank whether I would attempt to do a Chicagoan accent. No, I can't do I can't do any kind of North American accent unless you count Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob, and I'm not going to embarrass myself. I refuse. I can just about manage Irish a little bit, Scottish a bit. I could do a Swiss German one if you like, or a French one. But American, even, or North American, Canadian, even after living here for 10 years, I'm still pathetic. So again, this is Thursday's book. Let me show you today's read again. What You Don't See by Tracy Clark, and historical fiction, The Hollows by Jess Montgomery, on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. our new time. So thank you very, very much, as always, for joining First Chapter Fun. I hope you had a good time. I sure did. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again on Thursday. Hope the new time is working out for you as well, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So we hope to see you then. And until Thursday, please, as always, stay safe, stay kind, and we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you for watching.